Welcome to the liquidity narrative weekly map. So in this briefing, we'll define the key liquidity levels and market structure for Nasdaq, for Euro USD, British Pound USD, British Pound JPY, and USD JPY. We'll be using our weekly dealing range framework. Remember, the objective is not prediction, but identifying where liquidity sits and where price is likely to deliver. So starting from the structure, the question is what has been the market structure? On the weekly time frame or on the monthly time frame, we can see that we have been on a very bullish structure. The market has been making higher highs, and suddenly we got to these zones and the market started to consolidate, not giving a much higher high or making lower low. But this is a weekly dealing range. So our weekly dealing range, we are looking and focusing on this particular level, the 26 25.988, and the low being the 23.82, which is this level 0.30. So this becomes our daily range. Within this is where we are looking at focusing on at the moment. The question is, where is the price? The price is actually at a discount level within this daily range on the weekly time frame. So we drop on the daily time frame and we are asking ourselves, where will price likely to be drawn to? What will be attracting the price? Where is the money? Where is price likely to deliver? As we can see, as at last week, the price consolidated a little bit and then dropped and tapped into a fair value gap. This is a fair value gap on a monthly time frame. That's it. This is like the second tapped into that particular fair value gap, and the market responded up back to the upside. And as at last week, this is where the market ended or the market closes. So the question is, where is the price likely to be drawn to? First, we'll see that it created a fair value gap on the upside also. So the market is likely to draw back to this particular lows, which is also a fair value gap. On the monthly, if we look at it, we can say that particular low is on the 23, right? Okay, on the 23,988.3, which is also the fair value gap. If it continues down, our next target would be on this particular yellow line, which is the 23,827.8, which is a low on the weekly also. And then the question is, where will the reactions of price might likely go up back to? Price might return back to this fair value gap on the 4H, and apparently also a fair value gap on the daily time frame, whichever that is okay, and the previous week highs becomes our eyes will also be on the previous week highs. If price continue to go down, it might get here before returning back to those places or create another point of reaction. If price open and start to go up, then we keep our eyes on these levels on USTEC. Unless it opens and continue to go down, then our eyes keeps on this level as draw on liquidity. Whichever reaction, whichever point that traded fix makes the opposite side available for a reaction unless price created another key levels as the week open. So we keep our eyes on this range on the USD, starting from the weekly time frame to the daily time frame and then to the lower time frame, which would be your entry time frame. So we move next to our next pair, which will be British Pound USD. Also on the British Pound USD, what has been the structure starting from the weekly, we can see price was a bit high, and suddenly we got a break here and price went back up, took out all the old highs. At this moment, our eyes is on the daily range, which is the weekly daily range. We are using this particular range, the high here and the low here, which is the high is the 1.3868, while the low is on the 1.3019. So the question is, where exactly is market now? If we are using this range, the market is apparently on the discount level also, but has not got into a particular key level. So the question now is, what next? Where is the draw on liquidity? If you're watching on this weekly time frame, one of the first draw on liquidity would be this order block at this level, which is the 1.3174. That's the first. If price decided to continue to go down, then we begin to look at the next, which is the 1.3090. If we drop to the lower time on the daily time frame, sorry. So last week the market closed with DIX taking out those lows on the daily time frame. Took out those low on the daily time frame. I apparently want to see a kind of reaction on this. But if price continue to go down, like I said, the next draw on liquidity becomes the 31.74. And then if price have to go up before continue to go down, where are the likelihood price might react using this particular data we are watching? The first area of reaction will be on the previous week highs, which would be this particular level, the 1.3288, which is also a fair value gap on the 4 hedge. And if price continue more, we might see a reaction here. But let's see, the reactions we get here will give us an idea whether to take a short to continue to go down or give the price the opportunity to continue to go up. But these levels are being mapped out for you to keep your eyes on this level. But we watch to see draw on liquidity on the 1.3174. And if it continues to go down, the next draw on liquidity will be the 1.3019 apparently. But we watch the zones for reaction unless it created another reaction as the market opened, and there has been an inefficiency in this area. So we want to see price balancing those level. Yeah, yes, want to see price balancing those levels by maybe taking the previous week high before it continues to go down. That's it for us on the British pound USD. We move to our next pair, which will be on the Euro USD. Also on the Euro USD on the weekly time frame, what has been our structure? It has been creating a higher highs. Apparently on the weekly time frame, it has been more of a bullish scenario. And suddenly last week, the market took out this low, breaking this particular structure and another low here. So where is our daily range? Which range are we looking at? On the weekly time frame, we've been focusing on this particular daily range before price took out this low and took out this low. And then right now at the moment, the price closed below this second low. So what is our draw on liquidity? Our eyes is priced to get to this low on the weekly, which is the 1.3094. And if it continues to go down, the next will be this other block, which is the 1.12446. And before this low, which is the 1.1211, if we drop on the daily time frame, so we ask ourselves the question also, where is the likelihood price might react before it continues on its way? Depending on the area or the side that the market is going to trade first, we're keeping our eyes on this level. That seems to be a previous week high. If we drop more on the lower time frame, that's the 1.1490. So let's drop on the lower time frame using the one hedge. So we drop on the one hedge, that's the previous week highs. If price trade here fix, I want to see a reaction back to the upside to balance all the inefficiency that the price has created within the previous week. So if price continue to go down after this, I want to see a reaction back. If price opens apparently or probably decide to go up first, I want to see a reaction here and probably a continuation to the downside. So whichever side of the market that trade phase gives me the idea on what next or which area or which side of the market that will be next. And that is it for us on the British pound USD. But our draw on liquidity fixed is the 1.39440. So we move next to our next pair on using our weekly basis, which will be on the British pound JPY. Also using the weekly range, what has been the structure of this market? You can see that the market has been an uptrend and there seems to be a pullback, and the market responded or reacted to this order block as at last week. So is the structure trying to change, or should we continue to the upside? That less for the market. Our dealing range has been this particular level, and this particular highs. So on this particular dealing range on the weekly, we have been on a premium zone, or we are on a premium zone as at the moment, as market reacted to the order block. So if we drop to the daily time frame, as of last week, the market reacted to the order block and then closed here. So where is the next draw on liquidity? I want to see price run into this order block on the 2210.67. That's this level. I want to see price react to that area and maybe and return back to the upside to take out this high on the 214.98 before this highs, which is a monthly high on the 215.86. If price decides to drop out low more after this order block, even though my eyes is on this order block more, the next area will be these lows on the 209.17 on the daily time frame. So we keep our eyes on this level. If we drop on the lower time frame also, like we said, our draw on liquidity is here first before the any other thing. So we keep our eyes and see which area of the side of the market that the price will first of all run to. But I want to see the market run to this other block before going up to this zone, and may react to this other block on the upside before it continue to go up. But we keep our eyes on these mapped out zones level and then use it for our own advantage in this coming week. So the last pair we're going to be looking into will be the USJPY. So starting from the weekly on the USJPY, where has price been? We can see the price has been on an uptrend also. Where is our daily range? We are looking at this level high and this, and market has broken out of the external level, external structure on this dealing range as of last week closed here. So the watch on this will drop on the daily time frame. Where is the likelihood, or where is the draw on the liquidity? The price still has room on the upside, which is a monthly high at the 1.61.98. But apparently, I'm expecting price at least to pull back to fill those levels. If it continues to go up, it might actually get back to take this previous week low and maybe fill this before it continues to go up. If not, I want to see price returning to fill this fair value gap, which is a daily fair value gap. That is the areas we are watching price to react to and see exactly what will happen on those level as at this week. So I said these are the key levels, the key liquidity level for the week across the Nasdaq, the British pound USD, the Euro USD, JPY, British pound JPY, and USD JPY. Remember, the objective is to understand where key liquidity sits and how price delivered into those levels. Structure over speculation. Liquidity narrative.